Hi guys, here we are with the new live, talking with a photographer that was published on my The Street Photographer Notebook, the series of magazines that I am releasing since 2015. And in this live, I have the pleasure to talk about his work with Jean-Pierre Hazee.
Yes, fine. Thank you.
You are welcome, Jean-Pierre. I will start with the usual question when we start an interview. How it starts for you with photography?
Oh, I began very early, at about 12 years old. But I was doing a lot of things, but I was learning to develop and to print my own photo. But my reportage work, my when I began to photography people, I was about 60, 70 years old. That was the time when I began to learn photography at the high school. You
I
know,
think that that film photography is the best school you can have in photography because it is physical, it is different from the digital photography. When you have the result that you see immediately is different when you have to reveal the results in a dark room, no?
yes, it's very different, but things remain the same. uh, I used to take time as the best editor for photography, because
Oh,
when you take the picture, when you go back home and you look at it, well, some pictures look good, some less, but the impression you got just just the day you done it is it's not very it's not very strong. It's not enough. It's not enough. A good photography is a photography you will like 1 month later, 1 year, 20 years later,
it
and when
needs
you
to
look back at
marinate,
your
no?
work, what do you say?
It needs to marinate.
Yes, you need time to see what's happening in your work. I I never I never look, as I use digital photography now. I never look at the picture just after I took that. I never look. I never use the finder in the back of the camera to shoot. I shoot with the Leica camera, traditional, as I always did, but looking through the finder.
Yes.
That's all. And when I go back home, I put the card in the PC and look at all the photography. You know.
Yes, I think you can have a similar approach also with digital, because sometimes I realize when I am working with colleagues close to me that they are taking a picture and looking at the viewfinder, no? And this
Yeah.
is something that I am thinking they are not connected really with the flow of the present things that happening. If you are thinking always in the results immediately, you are not focusing on what is happening in that moment, and this is an issue, I
Yes.
think.
Yes. Sure. Sure. You have to be connected with the reality, with all the things that's happening, and to recognize in 1 second that
Yeah.
something is happening. So it needs concentration on the scene, but not on the camera. You know.
Yes.
when I use the Leica argentic analogic camera, there was no light meter, there was nothing, there was no autofocus, there was nothing. But I put all the setting on the camera before shooting. I put on the aperfocal, I put on 2 meters or 3 meters distance. I put the speed and the diaphragm. So when I look at something, I just click. That's all.
Yes.
I still do the same in digital now. I still do the same, but you have to be concentrate on what's happening, and you even like this, you can't control everything, but with some concentration, you can recognize things, you can manage the organization, the composition very quickly. Yeah.
How about your approach? You are more a documentary photographer than a classic street photographer, no? You
Ye-
said me you are more close to photographers like Henri Cartier-Bresson or Robert Frank, no?
Yeah, yes, or Kudelka, or some photographs that I admire, that I love. I love their work. Um, the the I realize that what's the most interesting is life and people. You know, because sometimes you have a second of eternity, a second that means something for human being, not for the moment, not only for the moment the picture was taken, but there are lots of things that are eternal in human life. There's love, hate, to be poor, to be rich, there's a lot of things that remains. And when you recognize something that symbolizes um, an important part of life, well, and you can shoot it, it's
Yes.
but it doesn't happen every day. So
I want to make you a last question before to start to see your photos. And right now there is an issue, a topic, especially on Twitter. There is a controversial issue about the fact. Yesterday, I read a guy saying we need to ask permission to take a picture because we need the consent. But for example, in street photography, we don't need this consent. You photographed also children and people that maybe are from a different culture. You ask permission when you make a photograph, or simply you are in the scene, and of course you are not hiding yourself, but at the same time you take the pictures without asking permission.
Well, there's a law about that. There's a law about propriety of image. Uh, what what what's the most important thing for me is respect. You have to respect the people you use to take picture. You have to have empathy, to be empathic with people. If you want to um, you, you have to be right with people. That was always like that. Even 30 30 years ago, when I took picture, nobody take care about that. Uh, Often people were happy to be photographed, or were well, they were proud to be photographed. You know,
Okay.
they say, "Well, I'm interesting." Well, that's always rule like that. Now things have changed. Things have changed. There's a law about that, but the law say that if you take a picture and you cause problems to the person, you know,
Mhm.
and you,
So,
you
do you think that this fact is changed for a cultural problem? Maybe the media pushed in some way the idea that photographing people is a bad thing.
uh, well, we still see a lot of photography of people in the street, you know,
Yes.
but there was an era where paparazzi were working every day and were working every week. You have an amount of photography of people, and sometimes it was not, it was violating private life, it was showing things that are not interesting, that are
Mhm.
not good for people. So I understand that some people need respect, and so you have to do that. When I came in connection with people, after I took the picture, not before, because
Okay.
before, you if you ask people before, you can took a candid photo. You can always you have always a portrait at the best, but you have nothing about life. Life is gone after you talk with the person, but you can talk after. And when
Yes.
you go back to the same place, people recognize you, people knows you, and you can talk. And if people don't like photo, well, if it's the same place and I know them, I just get I just don't take picture of people who don't like it.
I completely agree with you with the topic of respect. I always say that we need to make the photos respecting people. Also with street, especially with street photography, respect to documentary photography, the classic photojournalism. Um, Street photography can appear a little bit not respectful sometimes, no? Uh,
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's very aggressive
mhm.
when you use a flash gun and
Yes,
you shoot people in
yes.
front. Well, there's something, but if you do that, you have to assume it, and if you get aggressivity, that's quite a normal thing. But you can get sometimes you can get the opposite. I mean, I I've took photography of people in a street market in my hometown,
Mhm,
and I was I was sh- I see that people took my photo as their front page photo on Facebook because they like the way I photograph them.
okay.
So, so you can have some reappropriation
Mhm,
by people. Photo is not reality. It's the way I've seen them. But sometimes they recognize them too, and they agree with the way I saw them,
mhm.
and they're very happy, and they put it on the cover in Facebook. So it's often, or they like it, or they make a comment, or something like that. This also happened because they understand I don't make any trouble to them. Yeah?
I think this is very interesting them because it depends always also how you approach the subject. I mean, also the way you raise the camera in front of them, your expression, your body language. There are photographers that are very not respectful, especially for the way they approach people. I can also to approach a person very close, to raise the camera at the last second, and that person, for my way to approach him or her, is recognizing me not as a menace. And I have seen photographers that their approach, their face expression, their body language is very aggressive, and this can cause an issue, confrontation, and something like that. So it depends. Street photography, I think, can be more aggressive than classic documentary, than classic photojournalism. But at the same time, it depends by the photographer. I can assure you that I used also the flash in the street, but in a way that people was smiling at me. I am not used to use the flash, but for a project, Reality Remade, I made that, and people was smiling at me. I talked with them after the photo, and they understood that my work was respectful to the end, also by using flash. I know that many times using flash can be aggressive, especially if you are not asking ask permission, no? But in that case, I have seen how people can recognize this. I have met in the past a photographer coming from New York City, here in Mexico City, and he started to photograph like Bruce Gilden, shooting flash very close. He was beaten. Also, he went the hospital. In 12 years, to me, never happened that. So I have to think that there is a respectful way to approach people, and there is a not a respectful way. It depends also by the person. I think that we communicate also by being to the end of the game, we communicate more with our body language. Also, if we are thinking about the person with respect, I think that the person will feel this this feeling, you know, this.
It's certain. It's certain. I absolutely agree with you about that. At the the thing, you sometimes people may think you're crazy or you're a fool to take photo like that, a lot of photo of things that they don't understand what interest is it in doing that. But that's not a big problem to look like a fool. I don't I don't care about that. It's still about laughing and it's things like that. And you keep your good humor, and you keep always things go well like that. I never use a lot flash gun just because I don't like the light, this kind of light, but it's it's a choice, but even aesthetic choice, because
Yes.
I don't in black and white, when you use a flash, you have a very high contrast, and you have nothing in the background. You can see nothing or very few things in the background. So I didn't like that too much. But the photographer who were working for the newspaper often use flash, and that was the photo you see in the newspaper. And simply, I just wanted to do something else, something different, something that include the background, something that include well, the the relation in between the character
the
and the
context.
background. Yeah? That's a choice. But what you can do, as you do, you can use a flash and be respectful.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, sure.
So, Jean-Pierre, now I will share the screen in order to look at your photos, and I want to comment with you the photos. So I think that sorry. Okay.
Hi.
This is the first photo. It is a portrait, no?
It's a street portrait. It was
Street portrait.
two people I met in the street, a small town in Belgium where there was a coal mine. There was a coal mine, but uh, it was the end of coal mine exploitation in Belgium in the last 70s, 80s.
Mhm.
So there was old people, and what you can feel in this is the social condition, the the type of hard work they do, but the friendliness between the two person that have two, one is young and the other is much older, and there's something like solidarity, or well, or friend friendliness at the minimum. And that's interesting. What is interesting also is that all the points in the image leads to the character, and
Mhm.
all the lines on the left. But this is typically a street photo, but there was a contact, and there was the agreement of the character is clear in the picture.
Yes.
They
Yes.
they um w- what can happen, it's when you do that, sometimes they took an expression, well, they smile, or they,
Mhm.
but this, they have some, well, some some fierté, how do you say fierté in English?
Uh,
Some
Maybe proudness.
Yes, yes. you
Okay.
you understand, they're proud of who they are, and
Yes.
they're proud to be the subject of photography. And this
Yes, we can see dignity in this image. I think
Mhm,
it is also there is a connection that I can see as a viewer of the image. Their expressions involve me in the picture, and this is the fact that I like. I like also the context. I like to see the buildings behind them, something that you can achieve with flash at night, for
mhm,
example, as we said before, no? And
mhm,
I think that is very important. Their expressions are. It is not just they are a little bit smiling, but it is an intense portrait. He puts questions to me about them. There is also this empathy that I can see with you. the photographer, no? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that
sure, sure.
it's
It
very
was
interesting this.
it was a good contact. It was they were proud and they were happy to be photographed.
Yes.
So it's well, something is
And after I can see also because it is a photo that I want to back to see. It is not just a photograph and then 3 seconds like in Instagram. You don't want to see anymore, no? In this case, for example, after I think details emerge if you look with attention to the photo, I look at the chain here in the neck of the young man. I look at the shirt of the old man, for example, that is out of the jacket. All these elements are important. The end of the young man taking the shoulder of the old man, no?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything is pretty interesting. Also, how is dressed the young man is quite interesting to me. So it is a revealing portrait of the character of the person, no?
Yeah, sure, 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 sure. So it's kind of photo you saw in the past and the people put on their wall. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's but now it reminds something that has completely disappeared.
And
But
when you made this photo,
well, it's around Charleroi. It's uh, it's the industrial region of Belgium near France. You know, in the west of
okay.
Belgium.
What year, Jean-Pierre?
Hmm.
What year
What's
you took the
oh,
picture?
yes, yes, yes. It was in 1980. It was
Ah,
in
19.
1980. No, in this town there is absolutely no more industrial activity. There is nothing
Mhm.
more. This kind of manual work has completely disappeared.
I have another monitor behind this
Hmm.
one, so I am looking also by
Hmm.
a little bit far the image, and I can assure you that it works uh, very, very good, the image. Another one.
Yeah, this was taken south of France
Mhm.
at almost the same period, at the end of the 70s. Uh, well, it's almost a funny picture because people don't understand how they look. You know,
Yes.
they 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 think they're well. The lady, I'm sure she was thinking she was pretty was the way she wears things and so but in the graphical construction there's something that's somehow amusing because the geographic the well the the design of all the shirts
Mhm.
you see and the hat of the old man in the right side. Well, it people don't understand the way they look and the way and the camera is sometimes a cold media that takes the thing as they are and put all the graphical incoherence in between,
Yes.
the things like that. So it's a more graphical construction than the one before.
Yes, I think that by looking this image, I can see construction also because she is emerging from the dark.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, it is constructed like I can see the man with the lady in a part and the other in another part. Uh, Already my brain is dividing in groups the picture. Uh, what it attracts me also is the reflection on the window. That is interesting because it gives you more context than the flat plan of the portraits. It is giving us already another dimension that is made by the reflection, no?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
just showing the building reflected. So I think that is interesting also that the windows or the buildings there it attracts me uh, in an interesting way, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sure. Sure.
I think that is interesting also that there is a poster there.
Mhm.
Uh, there is Britons in another fly, no?
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
the thing you see, the image is a window. Huh? You
uh-huh.
got another window and a window in the window. So you give
Yes.
some deep, profound. Huh?
Yes, because with the photographer, sometimes we need to work. We work, not sometimes. We work with two dimension, but the reflections are giving us another dimension that is pretty interesting. That sometimes it seems animated by it on life, and it is a frame in the frame that is interesting to me. So I think that is pretty cool. I like how there is a crop in the left side also, revealing a part. There is a continuation. I think that if you cropped before, I mean, where the door
Mhm.
ends, is not interesting like that. By uh, giving us also another part of a chair there is giving uh, us more dimension of the place, no? And I
Yeah.
think it's interesting. This is the detail that I see sometimes that I study in other photographers, no?
Yes.
Why you decided to keep that part, but that part for me, I want that part.
I understand what you say, but at this time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this question didn't exist for a lot of photographers. I mean, you there was an artistic convention that you don't have to crop a photo. You can't crop a photo. Cartier-Bresson always take
Yes.
a, a black a black how to say uh, a black line around the picture. That means that it's the whole negative that is printed, and what is shown is what you saw, and you can do anything. Well, I'm not fixed on in that way now. I'm just a little more free and relaxed about that. But when you become, it's a it's a good way to learn. It's a good way to learn how to see, and you understand that it's not the perfection that gives you the things the more interesting.
Yes,
Even if you can crop, you can cut, you can cut the upside, and you can
exactly.
just, and but if you do that, well, you lose a big part of
Yes,
the
the part
image.
of the window,
Mm,
because if you
you,
want to keep the same aspect ratio, you will crop the window above, the window reflected above. So,
yeah, yeah, you lose a lot of things.
yes.
So if I so no, if I got something disturbing there, I cut it. No, I do that. But in those years, I never did it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. But yeah,
Here we are where?
in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Oh, mi querida Oaxaca. Okay.
So Oaxaca is in 1986, and well, you have
Wow.
something like uh, like a typical Western picture of the American tourist,
Yes.
and well, and Mexican people in
Mhm.
the cantina, but I think things should be very different now in Oaxaca. I have heard it's more touristic, or even than it was in those times. But in those times, it was well, it was looking like it's a small town,
Mhm.
a small
But it
friendly
was
town.
not in Oaxaca de Juarez, in a small town around Oaxaca.
No, it's in Oaxaca.
It's in Oaxaca the city.
It's
Okay.
in it's around de Zocalo, como
Oh,
el centro.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's en el centro de Oaxaca, it's around el Zocalo o Plaza de Armas. No me acuerdo. I don't remember how
Yes,
it.
is Zocalo. Is Zocalo is around the Zocalo. So definitely
It's
okay.
around that, but well, but you can think about some Western film or some things.
I
For
like also in this the dimension you achieved to obtain, no? Through the table. In that sense, it gives you the sense of depth, no?
Yeah, that things it to the perspective of
Yes.
the lines of the table, and what is more difficult, it's that you have four characters, and they are they're all interesting, you know. When you took a picture and you have a lot of character, 4, 5, or 6, you have always one that's not interesting, one that's looking in the other side, something. But there, what I like is they are in their own way. They're all interesting. Yeah.
Jean-Pierre, anytime that we look at an image, it's possible that we achieve to see something that maybe the photographer is not aware. Maybe my street photographer look, or the photo editor one that I have uh, is allowing me to see right now a particular that is in the ends. I see the ends. I see
Mm-hmm.
the first end in the low down in the corner. There
Mm-hmm.
is an end
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I see the other end of the man looking at you, at the viewer also.
Yeah,
There are the hands making something, or the man sit down, maybe paying. I don't know. I can see. And there is the other man with the man with the hand taking the bottle.
yeah,
The other man I can see the end, and I see other ends. There is a sort of continuity. I can see something that is interesting to me. This thing of the ends of the people
yeah.
in
You,
this picture.
you think the way that the old man on the front is holding his beer, you can take. The people use their hand to keep reality
Yes.
against them. Something. It's just something funny also. Yeah,
Okay. Another
yeah,
one here.
yeah. Yeah. It was in Mexico also, but
Okay.
I mean, maybe in Mexico
Cha-
City.
In
It
Mexico
was the
City.
same year. It was the same year. Um, well, you you see in all the faces, the way they're looking comes from left to right.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyone is looking in a different
Yes, but
direction.
from left on the left to right on the right.
Yes.
In the middle there,
But
right
there is
to right.
also the little kid, the little girl that is looking above.
Where
So
the somebody is looking above. Um, you have something that, well, uh, people are not really together in this picture. You know,
mhm,
everyone is looking in its own way. Um, it could it could have been the cover of a record for that, you know, but
mhm,
independently that they're too young to figure as a musician. But is the way you photograph a musician in a group, because they've all separately their personality
yeah.
and the way they took place. So maybe something will be interesting to make a cover record with that. I think that's I think it's good for
I
that.
am very impressed by this picture. In fact, when I look at the first time this picture, I love it immediately because there is a dynamism by the expression and the positions of the uh, guys, and I think is very very interesting this picture. I love this picture. In my opinion, is one of the best I have seen from you.
Yes, I like it very much, and it's not so complicated when you look. Well, the best thing are always simple. You know, simplicity is the more difficult thing to get. You know, when
Do
things
you take
go when all the things go as in an evidence as something simple. You know.
pictures always by looking through the viewfinder or no?
Yeah, so always,
Always.
all that you show, all those ones were take through the viewfinder. Well, there's another way to look through the viewfinder is using a Rolleiflex twin camera. You know, when you're looking,
Mhm,
you take on the stomach and you get you got the ice of the stomach. You get
mhm.
the ice lower, but I didn't take a lot with the roller. I always use the Leica Fender on this. Just yeah, this one.
Okay. Let's see this. Another great portrait.
Yes. This was took in Lisbon
Okay.
in the 80s too. Um, what the first interest is the emotional interest. When you look at a picture, you have to feel some emotion. You have
Mhm.
uh, image should have an emotional content. If you don't feel anything when you look at the picture, well, there's not interesting. But this is the first level with the two people. They're not pretty, but their love seems pretty in the picture.
I
And
think that the fact that maybe they are not pretty, but I think that this makes also the photo, no? The fact that both have a particular character. They are interesting to my eyes, and for me, they are beautiful as a photographer because I think they are very interesting. Sometimes, if you photograph beautiful people are not interesting like the ones we are seeing, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Something is they well the something glossy paper
exactly.
beauty is not real beauty. Real beauty is in the emotion or in what you feel together, and real beauty is in love, not in the way you dress or you things like that. Well, what I like also in this photography is in the background. There's the two letters, which can
Mhm.
supposed to be two letters, one for each, and uh, the correspondence between the letters on the back
Mhm.
and the back of the lady. You know, this and well you have a lot of small graphical things in that picture that
Yes, I see the triangles of the shirt of him. It can be a reminder of the A or the letter that I see behind, and the posture of the woman, and the woman is curved like the letter. So I
I
think
get
that
it on the background. Yeah,
yes, I love in fact the posture of her, the position of her shoulders in that way. It adds something interesting. Also, it is interesting. What is that in the right part? It is a
a tissue or something like it was a house and they put they put things tissue to dry, you know. I mean,
it
well,
was in the 70s. This photo, no,
end of the 70s, end of the
end of the 70s. Okay, it's pretty cool. Also, this image.
ah,
Oh, wow.
this was in the same place in um, in Lisbon. Uh, when I took it, uh, I just left it away. I didn't choose that picture for enlargement. I left behind. It was 20 years after when I look at all the negatives, all the films,
Mm-hmm.
and I see, well, but this picture has something, and I didn't want to take it because it's completely out of focus. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely nothing is sharp in this picture. It's completely out of focus, but the emotion is there, and
Yes.
it works almost like a film from a movie. And I I finally took it in the series, but it was 20 years after shooting it, you know, because my way of looking at pictures have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more open, and I'm less attached to technical problems.
Okay.
I,
But for example, the dress of the little girl
Hmm?
is interesting by the skirt in that way. I don't know if it's about the wind in that. Uh,
Yes, it was some wind. Yes, yes, it looks like.
so I
Looks
think it's interesting that I think it's interesting you cropped the feet because many photos that I love also included Henri Cartier-Bresson have people with the feet, but it's typical of the parallax error of the viewfinder when you took the picture also with the Leica, no?
Yes, yes, yes. It was. There are a lot of issue in this of technical issue in this picture, but but I like it. But I like it. I left her behind. I left it behind because there was technical issue, but now I forget all the technical issue, and I see the emotion, the potential emotion of the picture, and I say, well, that's it.
Yes. When you see destructive elements that can work in a frame, it means that the frame is right, is good. I have seen a lot of photos of Henri Cartier-Bresson with some errors, but they are not errors. In those details gives you character to a photograph. I think that it works in that one also. It gives you context. There is a word uh, that is continuing to stay beside the main scene, the cars behind, and it's interesting to see that angle of a life in a public place, no? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah, sure, sure,
interesting.
sure.
It's interesting. I love the fact that most of your photos proposed here are with the visual contact also.
Mm.
Okay. In that one, there is not the eye contact.
No, no, no.
It is a candid moment with a very interesting light.
It was in a small village of Andalusia in the
Okay.
south of Spain. Uh, what was first is light. First is light. This light
Mhm.
is terrible. It's a strong light in
It's
the morning.
fantastic.
It gives something deep. But what is also interesting is the wear on the table. The
Mhm.
circle. on the table is the where is is corresponding to the cuff of the domino players, you know.
Oh
So
yes.
it get rid with the time, you know, after
Wow.
many games, you know, all the
Wow.
cuffs. I made a circle across the table, so so it gives you an idea
See,
of the
yes, there
time.
is a story. There
Mm.
is a story behind. Yes,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
fact.
but there is sorry, and there is also a notion of time that is
Uh-huh.
completely different than an instant. You can see a permanence. You can imagine. It's been
Yes.
20 years that or more that people are playing dominoes on the same table, and there will be others. Well, no, this 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 kind of scene has almost disappeared. But when I took the picture, it came from long ago.
Wow. Wow. It is a great picture. I admit that I didn't observe that much this photo in respect to the others, but right now I am. It is fantastic. This photo, Jean-Pierre.
Thanks, thanks. Ah,
This is a photo that many appreciated from you.
mhm. This was took in London, and
Mhm.
it was the first. It was uh, the first interesting reportage photograph that I made. Well, I was 70 years old. I was in London. I had the wrong material. I was working with a Nikon and a
Mhm.
24 millimeters, which is too wide angle. But well, it work in that picture because there's a connection in between the subject, the old woman, and the background. You know, you can see a
Yes.
relation in something about solitude. You know,
Mhm.
and all those impersonal buildings, and all is very cold, and it was just after the rain, and well, you can have almost an explanation of the woman attitude and what's all around her, you know.
Mhm.
And it was one of the first picture I took that have some signification, and I said, well, I just can go this way, but it was the very first one. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's interesting. There is a communication with you, with that expression. It is not just an expression. It questioning something, and it involve the viewer to in the scene. No, so I think it's interesting also the context behind with the cars.
Yeah, sure. Mm.
Okay.
Well, it was also in London, but it was later. It was later. It was what the end of in the 80s. In the 80s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you see that well uh some people now looking at that picture say, well, that's awful, that's not normal, these people are going on and these men on the ground. But it was in the east of London, it was a current thing to see
People.
hobos uh, sleeping on the street, and people go around and around like there was nothing. So
Mhm.
uh, the picture is fixing something that even the people you see in the back are not seeing. You know, they used to go there on the street and to think that this is completely normal, natural. You know, there's nothing, but the picture revealed that is not. And there's two level. There's the horizontal level for the man alone, and all the other ones are vertical and going their way.
Yes.
It doesn't move, and they're all going their way on the vertical way. Well, so it's I also didn't took that picture. uh I've just taken it because I think it was too emblematic, too message was too evident. But well, as time goes by, I
I
think.
like that you achieved to have the people in the distance in respect to the subject. There is a distance that
Mhm.
is revealing itself, and it works pretty good in this frame because it's showing this distance is revealing about
Yeah,
the difference, no?
yeah,
Between
that's it.
him and them.
Mhm. That's it.
The last one,
Yeah,
another with the eye contact and kids.
yeah. It was still in London. It was in the East End. But what I like is for children. For children, the still the same joy of playing. And when they look at me taking photography, they came to me and they play with me in a certain way. uh, they play to be photographed. But
Mhm.
and so what you see in the background is reveals that is
Mhm.
a very poor place. When often in London, some building
I
remind.
see another thing, Jean-Pierre.
Hmm?
I see two dogs and two kids. I see
Yeah, also, yeah,
and
yeah.
and I see the dog, the white dog.
The
Uh,
black one.
in, they are separated by the sidewalk and the other
Yeah.
on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark kid, because I identify as a dark because of
The
mm,
suit, the
the
suit.
shoe.
Eh?
Yes, and the dog is dark, and the other is white. To me, the little girl is white, and the dog is white. I think that is pretty interesting. This it is like a black and white represented in this photo, no?
Yeah. And there's two-part, and the two-part cut by the crossroad. Yes. We see.
You
And
can't remember? Can't you remember if the white dog was a female dog or no?
oh, I don't remember
It
that.
would be great. It would be great if the white dog was a female and the black
uh,
dog was.
I don't remember. I don't remember. Actually, it could be. It could be. I was not the one of the girl alone. I took, well, 6 or 7 pictures with those kids. It was fun.
There is a connection with you, so with the viewer. I love the expression. I don't know. The little girl has
It's an apple. It's an apple.
an apple. Okay,
Well, I know it because I have the other pictures took
okay,
close, and I see she had an apple in his mouth.
okay. Another great photo. Now I will back uh, here to remove this one. Okay, Jean-Pierre. I think that this episode was pretty interesting. I learned a lot. I hope that also the viewers of this, because it will stay on my YouTube channel, so many people will see after this live this program. I think that we'll learn a lot from your vision, from your photographs, the way you described the same photos. It is an approach that I love a lot because you are a respectful photographer. I learned a lot, really, about your vision and about what means to photograph in certain context, because you are not a photographer shooting just in downtown. You're a
Mhm.
photographer shooting also in particular places, no? Where there is poverty also. So I think that is pretty interesting to learn from you, from your vision, from your photographs. Right now, I am very happy with this because I am even more proud to have your work featured on an issue. So my
Nice.
respect, man, about this.
It was a pleasure, and um, I'm very happy to have a book with all the picture mixed and see all things together. So it was a real pleasure for me, really.
Jean-Pierre, I would say thank you, a big thank you. And you are always welcome when you want to publish again. You are really welcome to propose another work because I am very happy to have you among the photographers of the street photographer notebook. And
Thank
thank you again also to accept the invitation for this live because today I think that is very interesting this live that
you.
we made.
It was a pleasure to share your point of view and the way you look at the picture. It was a pleasure.
Thank you a lot.
Thank
So
you.
we'll see you soon, Jean-Pierre. I recommend to check out your website. That is
You mean on Flickr? It's on Flickr.
it's on Flickr.
You
Okay.
put my name on Flickr and you see all the pictures.
By the issue number 82 of the Street Photographer Notebook, 82, where there is the selection of the photos of Jean-Pierre, where you can see
Yeah,
the photos of the.
I got it.
Yes, it is great. It is fantastic to see. Show
Yeah,
again the magazine. Show again, Jean-Pierre. This is
yeah,
the magazine. It looks cool, pretty cool. So I think that it's a
yeah.
fantastic magazine with the work of a great photographer, Jean-Pierre Hazee. Uh, I said I pronounced well, Jean-Pierre
Mhm.
Hazee. Okay. It is our photographer of issue 82 of the
Yes.
Street Photographer Notebook. Thank you again, Jean-Pierre. We'll see you. We'll talk soon. Thanks you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.